For much of his life, the king of the Thekkumkoor dynasty in Kerala followed a rigid religious vow. He traveled every single month to worship at the Vadakunnathan Shiva temple in Thrissur. But age and failing health eventually made the long journey impossible. For a man whose identity was tied to this monthly pilgrimage, being physically unable to reach the temple was a devastating blow. In a dream, the deity appeared to him with a solution. Shiva promised to relocate to the nearby Nakada hill so the king could continue his worship without the physical strain of travel. The deity gave the king two specific signs to identify the new location. He would find a bull standing near a blooming white chethi flower. This promised relocation meant the king's personal devotion had effectively shifted the spiritual geography of the region, bringing the temple to the devotee. Shortly after, at a nearby monastery called the Swamiyar Mutt, laborers were out in the fields on Nakara Hill, digging into the earth to harvest yams. As one worker struck the ground, his tool hit a buried stone. When he pulled the blade back, the stone began to bleed, with a steady stream of red liquid pouring into the soil. The workers had discovered a swayambhu, a naturally occurring, self-manifested deity. When the king arrived, he found the bleeding stone, the white flower, and the bull, precisely where the dream had predicted. The king ordered the immediate construction of the Thirunakkara temple. He established a rigorous system of 5 daily pujas and dedicated vast royal resources to ensure the temple functioned according to the highest standards of the era. However, in the process of organizing the temple's elaborate daily rituals and staff, the king failed to set aside a single grain of rice or any funding to feed the bull. Soon after the temple opened, farmers in the surrounding villages reported a sudden crisis. Every night, a large white bull would break through fences and systematically eat through entire fields of crops. The farmers saw the animal clearly under the moonlight, but every time they tried to corner it, the bull would simply vanish into the darkness. Because they couldn't catch the animal, the local population was left to watch their livelihoods disappear. For the poorest families in the area, these nightly raids meant the very real threat of starvation. The conflict peaked in the village of Vellore. A worker from the Parayan community, desperate to protect what remained of his harvest, finally managed to strike the bull with a stone. The king's administrative neglect had forced a sacred animal to survive by scavenging from the very people the temple was meant to serve. That same night, the king had a second vision. The bull appeared to him not as a silent animal, but as an injured and vocal accuser. The bull explained that as the Lord's vehicle, it had no allocated food in the temple's royal budget. It had been stealing from the farmers because it had no other way to eat. Realizing the error, the king consulted his astrologers. They confirmed that the bull raiding the farms was the same divine creature that had marked the temple's location. To fix the mistake, the king took immediate legal action. He purchased the specific rice paddy in Vellore, where the bull had been stoned, and deeded it to the temple. The land was officially named Kalakandam, or the Bull's Field. From that point on, all the rice grown there was reserved exclusively for the bull's offerings. By treating the bull as a legal entity with a right to its own land, the king ended the nightly raids and restored order to the village. While the farmlands were quiet, the bull's role in the kingdom began to change. Its physical health became a focal point for the entire royal court. The bull was now viewed as a biological warning system. Its body was believed to react to events before they actually happened. This manifested as a large, painful-looking boil known as niru. It would grow rapidly on the bull's hide, pulsing until it eventually ruptured. According to the folklore, when this boil burst, it signaled that a great tragedy was about to hit the state, specifically the death of the reigning monarch. The historical record shows a pattern. In 933, 973, 986, and 1004, the bull developed this affliction, followed shortly by royal deaths. Scanning forward to 1022, 1036, and 1055, the boil appeared again and again, each time coinciding with the loss of a ruler. The royal family's fate was now physically tied to the animal. They had to constantly monitor the bull's hide to see if their reign was ending. To prevent these grisly predictions from coming true, the state spent thousands of coins on emergency rituals whenever a mark appeared on the bull. This era of state-funded panic has since faded. In the modern age, these specific rituals are no longer performed by the government, and the belief in the bull's boil as a political omen has largely disappeared. The Thirunakkara Temple remains a central landmark in the city of Kottayam, serving as a physical reminder of these three distinct layers of legend. The story of the bull gave the community a way to explain why their temple existed, why their crops were being eaten, and finally, a way to visualize the timing of their king's deaths.